Get out the insurance cards, get out the co-pays. The office is open, my friends, as this video is brought to you by drroto.com.
Oh, good morning, my friends. It is I, Johnny Danger, and with me, of course, Mr. Adam White. It's been a very long time, sir, but PGA is back. The NFL is winding down, so it is yet again time for drroto.com's In the Cup, where we pretend we know about golf, sir.
Let's pretend. The season started last week in Hawaii, not where it normally is, but we're there, man. The season's here. We got a great field for Amex, too. I'm kind of stoked about that.
Pretty excited. Mr. Adam White, longtime friend of drroto.com and part-time when he shows up host, is a golf pro out in the great city of Detroit out on Belle Isle. He knows what he's doing. I know how to read simulators. Between the two of us, Adam, I think we can come up with some winners.
I think so, too.
I love it. Well, Mr. Adam, he loves datagolf.com. I love dfshero.com. So I got to plug those guys real quick. Promo code DOC over at dfshero.com gets you 20% off their tools. Best, in my opinion, optimizer and contest simulator on the market. And, of course, we're still doing everything. Football, we got basketball, we got golf, we got hockey. You name it, we're doing it over at drroto.com. Promo code WIN. Get 10% off our services over at drroto.com. All right, Adam, back to business. We are at the American Express, which I believe is somewhere in California. Tell us about the course.
It is. We actually have 3 courses they'll be rotating between. We're going to focus on TPC West, is where they're going to play 2 rounds at least. So 3 rounds, everyone will play, and then there's a cut after 54 holes. So a little bit of a unique setup this week. The courses, I want to keep this brief, will correlate very strongly with long drivers of the golf ball and good approach play. Last week, it was more accurate, even though got her up a long hitter won. It was more accuracy, putting, short game. This week, we got long drivers and we've got approach play. A lot of greens and regulations, so it kind of turns into a putting contest. These are just mountain courses, desert courses, a little bit of native area off the fairways, but you can bomb it. There's really not a lot of penalty for missing fairways out here. So I'm looking at long drivers, good approach play. Putting, I'm weighing in some, but it's not that important that you're a good putter. I mean, heck, Siwoo Kim has won here before.
I like that. So I see that, what is it, Sepp Straka is the returning champion.
He is. He kind of ran away with it last year. The big news this week is Scotty freaking Scheffler is in the field.
He's in the field.
And that's now, always question number 1, right? To Scotty,
you and I play one and done. There's no chance we're burning Scotty Scheffler this week, are we?
Not at the Amex, no. You want Scotty probably at a major, but if not, then at one of these like limited field, elevated events with a huge purse, because it's all about money in those things.
Oh, absolutely. So over at DFS Hero, I ran their optimizer, and it says the guy to have in the field, the number 1 most optimal player, Thorbjornsen. Tell me about him and why the optimizer loves him.
Oh, because he's a bomber, man. Thorbjornsen I've been on since he hit the tour like a little over a couple of years ago, or a little over a year ago. Hits the ball an absolute mile. Had a great fall season. He's actually kind of overlooked right now in general, I think, people that are really into it will recognize it, but he absolutely bombs the ball. His putting has always been a little suspect, but he made a change there. Been putting better through the fall, and he did play a little bit overseas as well. He correlates very well with his skill set with this course. So Thorbjornsen's a guy that I'm definitely on. Glad to hear that DFS Hero agrees, although maybe that means his ownership will be a little higher than we'd like. But no, I love Thorbjornsen too.
I mean, it could be. Let's get up what we normally do and go through the top end. We've got 10 guys in the 10,000 range over at Draftkings. The optimizer only likes Ben Griffin, doesn't care for the rest of the guys at the top.
That is interesting. I don't see how it wouldn't like Scotty, but the guy that I'm kind of looking at who had a little bit of an inconsistent season last year by his standards, Ludwig's a great driver of the golf ball. And his approach game is typically quite good as well. I think he kicks his season off with authority this week very well. And, I mean, Cantlay's got a great course history here as well, so I wouldn't hate you for going Cantlay if you're going to save some money. Griffin, the thing with him is last week his approach play was not very good in Hawaii, so I could see him still having a great finish. I just don't think he's the guy that I'm looking at to return value at his current price.
Sure. And don't get me wrong, man. I mean, the optimizer thinks Scotty's going to score the most points. The optimizer thinks Scotty's got the best chance to win. It's just 14 grand, $4,000 more than the next closest person is going to make most optimizers balk on that.
Yeah. I couldn't really falter for playing any of these guys up top. Like Cantlay at the second highest price to me is just doesn't feel right, but sometimes that's because they know what they're doing. So I'm not going to question it.
For sure. Well, as projected ceiling scoring, they've got Ben Griffin, number 2 over at DFS Hero. And I like that. I like Ben Griffin, consistent player. Last week, the optimizer also liked our friend Hoy, and it likes him again this week. Underperformed last week.
He did. Rico's a terrible putter.
Yeah.
Terrible putter. So on the weeks where he has really bad putting weeks, he's not going to pop. But he had a phenomenal fall swing, multiple top tens, and almost won a tournament. He's a guy that I think is a great bounce back candidate this week. He's down at 7,700. So yeah, Rico is a guy that I'm targeting. He was in my kind of first look based on instinct lineup, which ends up typically being better than the one that all the data suggests.
Well, we'll get into the number one build that the contest simulator spit out for us when we're done going through these players, but Rico is in that field. So let's get down to that next group, that kind of 9,000 through top 8,000 group. Optimizers are digging on Alex Noren. I know we said his name a whole lot about half the season last year. Are you ready to jump back on Alex Noren?
Noren, yeah, he came back from injury. He's a guy that plays a lot overseas as well. I expect him to be a little bit sharper than most of these guys. I'm surprised that he's the one that the projections are liking there, just because he's not a very good driver of the golf ball. That's my main concern. He's not long relative to PGA Tour standards, and he doesn't hit it very straight. So it's not the guy that I'm looking at, although we will be targeting him later in the season. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he contended at the Players coming up here. But the guys that I'm liking in this, you're looking at 9Ks down to 8Ks, right? We got about 20 players here. I still love Siwoo. He showed some really, really good form last week. His approach play was absolutely on fire, gaining about 1.7 strokes per round at the Sony. And this is another place that he's won. Siwoo is a course horse. He loves Pete Dye courses. That's what the TPC West is. So I would say target Siwoo in this 9K range. And Bobby Mack, man, he played great last week as well. Not that I'm limiting this to guys who played last week, but when you're a great driver of the golf ball like Robbie McIntyre is, and you played well last week and your skill set lines up, I expect him to be top 10 this week. He makes a lot of birdies. So those are the guys I'm loving in the 9K range.
Well, Adam, our friend Trustin Trevor over at drroto.com says he's taken down our contest this year. We're about to start our contest. We do a season-long Draftkings. If you want in, you just email me, danger@drroto.com, and I will get you into that. I don't know, man. I don't know if you remember last year, but I think Snake Doc led from week number 1 all the way through the end with an absolute crushing of the field, and then he finished the British Open, the last in our competition, with a victory as well, just to drive the nail into our hearts. It was a brutal beatdown by one of our listeners over at drroto.com, Adam. Can we compete this year? Can we compete? Can you and I compete?
Yes. I got clipped for second last year. Alicia took me down in the final week at the British Open, but this is the year I'm sort of fine-tuning my approach. I've done some self-scouting, so to speak, and I'm ready to go. Contest, I will contend. I can't control what other people do, kind of like on the golf course, but I will contend. But I look back at those standings from last year you sent out, and I was like, God, he destroyed everyone.
Absolutely murdered.
Much like before this year, we had one particular person winning our NFL contest, but
yes, 4 straight years.
Progressing.
Well, let's get back to this. How about the defending champ, Adam? Can we play Sepp Straka? Is he a one and done option here, or is he just not in the form that we want him to be in?
No, I'm not. I'm not big on him. He's struggled since I think he had an issue with his son or something shortly after his birth, leading up to the Ryder Cup last year, where he wasn't playing much. Like golf just doesn't seem to be the priority. So I'm not really on Sep this week. Taylor Pendrith drove it very well last week. Had a great finish at Sony, and also showed some pretty good approach play. But when he's trending, like he drives it so well that he's going to be a hard bet. I would have a hard time expecting him to be anywhere near the cut line. He's going to be up in contention. So another great tee to green player who had a decent week last week, tee to green, but I expect him to be better, is Kurt Kitayama. KK is a phenomenal tee to green player. So Pendrith, Kitayama, Thor Bjornsson in the 9K range, that's pretty much where it stops for me. Like
Sure.
Min Woo does drive it long, but his approach play typically stinks. Could he take a jump? I mean, he could. He had a couple of good finishes in the fall, into the winter overseas, but Min Woo's not the guy that I'm targeting here. So that's pretty much where I stop in the 8K, 9K range.
Well, you brought up Kurt Kitayama. He is in DFS Hero. Really likes him. He's in the contest sim lineup, and I kind of like that. Another guy in here, highly ranked in the simulator. The floor is very low, but a very nice ceiling rank for Rasmus Højgaard.
Yeah, Rasmus is a bomber as well. I would call him a very more of a volatile type play. I don't know. I don't think he played. He did not play here last year. I don't think he played here in 24. So it will be his first time at this course. I don't think he's the kind of guy that I want to target at least in cash games. In GPPs, like if you know guys are going to be on Thor Bjornsson, guys are going to be on Siwoo just above Pendrith. Jason Day had a good finish here last year. Minwoo is always popular. Let him cook. I like him as a GPP play potentially. It's just not the direction I'm going this week, being that it's his debut at this event.
I like it. Well, another player. Look, I'm going to talk about DFS Hero all year long, sir, because they helped me hugely in football and basketball earlier this year. They put me on a player. I don't even recognize the name. Can you explain to me who Pearson Coody is?
Yeah, Pearson. It looks like Pearson Coody, but no, he was a stud in college. He played at University of Texas alongside his brother Parker, who is struggling a little bit. Now he hits it great off the tee. He struggled quite a bit with approach play last week. Rode a very, very hot putter at Sony. So looking at what he did last week, he had an uncharacteristically great putting week, which if you know what I typically like to target and like to avoid, he's not going to gain over 2 strokes on the field again this week, most likely. And the fact that he barely gained with his approach play, I think a lot of people are going to be on him because it's a name people have kind of been eyeing, but I'm liking some other guys down in this range. I'm going to let the rest of the field kind of take on that volatile type player in Pearson Coody. That being said, he'll probably go top 10. I'm going a different direction based on ownership this week.
Sure. Well, you know, I believe in flop leg, and all the way up until I clicked Corey Connors in our one and done last week, I was on Rico Hoey, and I'm glad I didn't because it didn't work. But also Connors fell apart day 4, but that's okay. Still earned me some prize money in our competition. That's okay. But Hoey, I think I like him for DFS. I'm gonna build a DFS lineup. I don't know if I'd play him for one and done again, but I like him. There's a couple names down here that we have liked over the years in Kevin Yu and Will Zalataris. Max Grazerman absolutely made almost every one of my lineups last year and didn't disappoint a whole lot. Where are you at in the 7K range, sir?
I do like Max. He had a great finish here last year, and I expect him to take another little jump up this year as far as his overall game and performance. He hasn't won a tournament yet. He's a guy that certainly could. More of a driver putter type skill set, not as much on the approach play as far as his overall, but I would expect that he showed he could contend last year, so why couldn't he this year? Kevin Yu has just been showing some pretty poor form recently. The guy that I actually like a lot, I expect to have a big year. People don't realize how young this guy still is, but Akshay Bhatia is still 23 until next month, and he is sitting here at 7,800. When he's rolling, man, he just hits fairways, greens, makes putts. Fairways, greens, makes putts. Doesn't have the driving distance, but his approach play is great. His putting keeps getting better. Akshay is probably my favorite play in the 7K range, all things considered. Now, the guy who I think a lot of people are going to be on in the industry had a great week last week. Typically not a good putter, which if it doesn't matter as much, I'm going for Ryan Gerard all day. Hits it long enough, hits it straight. Approach play is great, and just finished second alone last week. I expect this guy to level up big time this year. He's 26 now. His boy Ben Griffin, fellow NC Tar Heel, has been ripping it up, won 3 times in the last calendar year. Ryan Gerard's a guy that I love a lot too, although he will be popular. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I will. When we get through this, I'll do a quick ownership run and just see where it's at on there. Let's see. Optimizer. Where's the optimizer? The optimizer likes Grazerman, just like I said.
7K range is huge too.
Yeah, not a ton there. Let's see. What else is there anything here that there's a couple in the high 6K range that pop up.
Well, let me stop you before we go on to the 6K range.
Oh.
There's a couple guys. Matty Schmidt is a long driver of the golf ball. Approach play is usually pretty reasonable, but he can get hot with the putter as well. So him at 7,100 on a course that kind of favors long, accurate drives. Got to mention him.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is I'll just pot geeter. Like, this dude has a skill set like maybe a couple other guys do, like maybe Thorbjornsen, Rory, these guys that just absolutely murder the ball. And he's still extremely young. He won't be 22 until the end of the season. Driving distance off the charts, approach play can be streaky, but when you're hitting wedges into most of these greens, they're in the desert. The ball's going to be flying. Potgieter is a guy who, very much like Rasmus, he's like the $7,000 version of Rasmus Højgaard. High risk, high reward. But man, if that reward hits, you got a guy who can contend to win this thing at 7K, which is massive upside that I'm looking for in tournaments.
I like it. Well, I have made that note. We are moving down to the 6K range. We're in a little abbreviated show today because we were running out of time, but that's okay. Two of the guys that talk the most. What?
So you and your job. Why do you have to have a job?
Yeah, well, I mean, we would have been out earlier if you didn't have a job. So I mean,
Fair enough.
Come on now. I mean, you swing clubs and I drink beer. It's pretty good as jobs go, sir.
It's true. It's true.
Just throwing it out there.
Oh, we do.
A couple of randos that pop in the 6K on the simulator. One of the guys pops very much so and is in the number one simulated lineup, Mac Meisner at 6,900.
Yeah, I was on Mac last week. I had him in my main lineup. He's not a guy who has any particular skill set that's going to blow you away. However, he is at or above PGA Tour average in all 5 major categories: driving distance, accuracy, approach play, around the green, and on the green. That's a skill set that you can kind of expect to make a whole lot of cuts. He did make the cut last week, kind of middling finished T40, but his approach play was very good. He gained over 2 strokes on the field for the week. So yeah, I like M&M. Last week it was like Mac Meisner, Matt McCarty. There was one other MM that was up there too, where I was like, man, all the M&M boys. This is a danger type week.
It is.
If you have that kind of trend leading to the top of the leaderboard. But no, I like Absolutely. Mac as well. I'm probably not going to play him this week just because he's going to be popular. I like the other M&M, Max McGreevy, who was very talked up going into last week and really disappointed. So I love the flop lag there. A lot of people were on him. I was not. I'm going to jump on him this week, where other people may jump off. Who else are the projections really liking down here? Because I got a couple guys.
We can stick with the theme, sir. Max McGreevy, another M&M, is kind of like, so Max McGreevy has a ceiling scoring projection of 88, and our buddy Mac Meisner has one of 91, and they're the 2 highest ceiling scoring projections below 7,000, and they're both M&Ms. You know how I'm going to like that.
Yeah, I know you will. And I don't blame you. I think if I'm looking at one more dude here that has some pretty high upside, I do see your neighbor is sitting there at 6,500. He had a good finish here last year.
Sure did.
Mr. Taylor Moore. But that's not the direction I'm going. I'm going to go with a very sneaky play here. David Ford. You probably don't recognize this name yet.
Sure
but
don't.
phenomenal player in college last year. Didn't make the cut last week. Gained almost a stroke per round off the tee. That's a huge, huge number. Normally, he's a pretty decent putter, and last week he stunk. Approach play was okay, gained a little bit, but that skill set, typically his approach play is better. Off the tee, absolutely crushed it. He's the guy that's going to be super low owned in my expectation. Sitting at 6,500, he's kind of hard to pass up for me.
I like it. I got one more guy ranked number 19 in the field in the hero ranking system. Lee Hodges at 6,700. Can you explain why he might pop?
Yeah, I mean, Lee had a great week last week. He's typically not a great approach player. Last week, he kind of rode great driver, great putter, that type of week. Again, that's a skill set that can work here. So if the putter remains hot at his price, you don't need a whole lot out of him. He's more of an accurate driver, decent approach play, and a solid putter type guy. I don't hate it. It's not the direction I'm going. His stock is going to be up. People are going to be jumping on it as it's rising. He's not going to gain almost 2 strokes per round again on the field. I know you don't need that at 6,700 or whatever he is down here, but I don't know. There's other guys that I'm looking at that I think provide a little more upside. I'm expecting the putting variance to catch him this week and him not to produce as much. There is one Euro Tour guy,
Fair enough.
DP World Tour, that I want to mention. Guy that I've been on for majors, great ball striker, crappy putter. I don't know why I love these guys. His putting's not as crappy as it used to be, but Jordan Smith. Not Jordan Spieth, Jordan Smith at 6,800. Had a bit of a rough week last week at Sony, barely made the cut. Putting was awful. Totally different greens. He still gained half a stroke on the field off the tee. Gained on approach, almost a stroke on the week. Typically, approach play is pretty good. He's long, hits it accurately. I like Jordan Smith's skill set a lot this week. If the putter is just like field average, he will crush value at 6,800.
I like that. Can you explain why Tony Finau is bargain basement priced with 0.5% ownership projection?
Well, he stunk last week. He stunk all last year. His driver used to be his weapon, and it is just broken. They're just begging you to even consider Tony Finau, which it's kind of like how the mighty have fallen here. Is he right at 6K or is he just above that?
66. Yeah,
66.
65
Yeah,
is the bottom. Yeah.
He's bargain, not quite the basement, but yeah, his driver has just become a liability. Like the only thing he does well relative to the PGA Tour now is around the greens. And if you're relying on that much at a course where most players hit the green, like the greens percentage here is like 5-6% above PGA Tour average. So his one skill set that's good at this point in his career is not going to be utilized much here. So big greens, lots of greens in regulation, easy off.
I think it's kind of funny here, Adam. DFS Hero has 2 columns where they have a boom percentage and a bust percentage. And they have his bust at highest in the field at 68%. And he's not even listed on the boom, not even 1% boom chance, not even one.
Yeah, even at 600, man, it's wild that he's looked at that poorly.
I got about 3 minutes, sir. So I'm going to run the hero ownership run, and we'll see here. They got Scotty Scheffler projected at almost 29%, followed by Ben Griffin, then Russell Henry and Fitzpatrick, who we didn't really touch on a whole lot. Then your boy Kurt. Then we got Bobby Mack, Alex Noren, Mac Meisner, Thornbjornson, Aberg, and Hoey is about the top 12 there.
Did you see my boy? Did you say Kirk? Chris Kirk?
No, Kurt.
Kitayama.
Kitayama. No.
I was going to be surprised by that. That makes sense. You want to do like high end, middle, low?
I mean, yeah, we got a minute. But first,
perfect.
Who are 3 you will consider in one and done? It's early in the season, and we're not competing for that $100,000 yet. So we can be friendly here.
No, with the field as strong as it is, you don't need to go down. You don't need to go down to the bottom. Like I want guys that I expect to win once or twice this season, but guys that I don't necessarily want at like signature events. So the guys that kind of fit that bill for me, Taylor Pendrith would be in that mix. Thor Bjornson's probably a little risky for me. He's just too volatile at this point in his career. But I would go like Pendrith, Bobby Mack. Bobby Mack's a guy I could see contending and winning here, or like Sam Burns. Like Burns, I think will go very low owned. He can get hot with the putter any given week. If his driver stays in play, like he will contend. So,
I dig it. All right. I will take a crack at the first, and I think optimizers love them, projections love them, contest sim love them. I'm going to go Ben Griffin at 10-2.
Okay. I'll go up to the top, and I will start with Ludwig. That's my top dog up high this week.
I like it. Let's see. Let's go. I don't know. Shall we go mid 8,000s or so?
Mid 8s down to 7K.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the first guy I brought up on the show, and I'm gonna go with Michael Thornbjornsson at 86.
I love Michael Thornbjornsson too. He's very enticing. I will have to stick with. I got to go Ryan Gerard, man. He's going to be highly owned, but 7,600 for a guy that just finished second last week. Skill set lines up well here. I got to go Gerard.
All right. I'm into that. Let's get low. I can't play Johnny Vegas, can I? Can I play Johnny Vegas? I love Johnny Vegas. I love Johnny Vegas.
I don't know what he's got going. He hasn't played in so long.
Right. But I'm not going to go any of those things. I'm going to go P-Raj. I'm going to go Patrick Rogers down at 7,100.
P-Raj. Yeah, his stats actually look great last week. Now, he's usually the guy that when you see something you like and you get on him, he usually lets you down in a very
That's okay. Way. We'll find out.
That's typically what he does. I will go down here in the 6K range, despite the fact that he missed the cut last week. I'm going to go with the guy we haven't mentioned yet and go with Michael Brennan. He had a rough week last week, but these courses suit him a lot better. I'm gonna jump on Mr. Brennan.
All right, I'm in on it. All right, guys. Well, this was a short one. We'll get a little bit more in depth as the season moves along. We really appreciate you checking us back out at In the Cup for drroto.com. I'm Johnny Danger, with me, Mr. Adam White, and my friends. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.